Hello, Tom.
Hey Jim, nice to see you again.
How are you?
Great, buddy. Sun's shining here in lovely Northern Ireland.
Yeah, in Ireland today. Yeah,
Yeah,
Northern
in
Ireland,
Ireland, working from home today. This isn't the
working from
office.
home.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the second time that you are in our coffee break series.
Yeah.
First time, I think, some months ago, we spoke
Uh-huh.
about the book. Improvement starts with
There it
I.
is. For those of
Yeah,
you that are looking
the,
on a
the, the,
screen, it's
there it
here.
is. First people are attending. Yeah, we had a delay today of 2 hours because I'm traveling, and Tom was flexible and agile as always to adapt.
Indeed.
So
They're the first words that people say about me.
yeah, yeah. So last time we spoke about the improvement starts with I. Um, Today we will talk about great processes.
Yeah, now we got a new one. I've been busy. There
Yeah, a
it
little
is,
bit more.
folks.
Yeah, yeah. Great. Show again if you want.
Yeah, here it is. This is the print version of Great Processes, a quick
Yeah.
guide on how to make any workplace better with SOPs. So,
Whoa. Yeah.
and it's got a neat back cover as well. It's you'll see the flavor of the book just by looking at it.
Yeah. Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is not your typical lean book. Like, so we got kids style illustration in there. It's very simple.
Yeah. Yeah. So explain what is it all about? Why
Mhm.
is it? Let's go through it. Like.
Yeah, sure. Well, Great Processes is actually an acronym. It's an acronym to help people check against when they're implementing a process or when they're reviewing a process. And this all started because of the software we have, GembaDocs. I get my finger right. That thing, GembaDocs.com. It's for creating SOPs. So we have over 250 customers, 25 countries plus now, 7 languages and counting. It's really successful. And about 10% of our customers will have a live workshop, maybe
Okay.
one or two. And in all seriousness, the software is so well designed that it's so simple to use that the workshops end up being 5 minutes about the fringe functionality that maybe isn't immediately apparent. And
Yeah.
then the other 20 minutes, 25 minutes will be talking about how do we get our people to adopt the standards.
Okay.
And because I'm a lean guy, I think you need to be a little bit lazy to be a good lean guy. I just got fed up answering the same question all the time. So I wrote this thing to help people understand what to do.
Yeah.
So that's where great processes come from. It's designed for anybody that wants to put standards in place in their organization, what they should use, what tools they should use, and that's obviously GembaDocs. I'm not just saying that. There's nothing else out there at our price bracket that does what we do. There's nothing even close.
Yeah.
And then from there, it's what to do with your people, how to get them on board, how to get them to embrace standards rather than the usual, oh no, standards, handcuffs. Nobody likes bloody handcuff standards. So that's what
Yeah.
the book's about. We'll dive into it in different levels, but was that clear for you, Jim?
Yeah. For me, for me it's clear, and I think that the people who will watch us today, for them it will also be, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
easier to understand than for people who are like really pushing away standards, because that is something that I see the younger generations, they don't like standards.
Yeah.
They
Mm-hmm.
see it kind of as an attack on their freedom. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like that. They
The
want,
handcuffs.
yeah, like millennials, they were looking for autonomy. Gen Z, they
Yeah.
are even looking for freedom, and for them it's kind of a, let's call it a mind fuck.
Yeah. Oh,
They
well
think,
done.
yeah, they think that standardization is like, oh, it's yeah,
Yeah.
limiting the freedom, but it's in fact it's the opposite. It
Uh,
makes life just easier, but you have to be open for it, and
that's
that
it. Well,
that's what you can explain us.
well, this book, if anybody's interested, download the Lean Play app and you can listen to the audio. There's a link to the PDF
Okay.
in the Lean Play app. You can also get it for free there, or you'll get it in Amazon in most countries. If you search G.R.E., if you do the acronym, it's
Yeah.
dead easy to find it on Amazon. So
Yeah.
that's how you access it. So yeah, it's a half-hour audiobook deliberately designed that everybody in an organization can digest it. It's only in English at the moment, where it's being translated into a couple of other languages. GembaDocs, by the way, is now available in Dutch. There's a Dutch language version of GembaDocs just recently released. We had some customers from Holland that were asking, so off we went. But yeah, it's half an hour. It's very simple. It's designed to be quite humorous. If you see here, hopefully we're full of memes. I'm a big meme fan. I spend my evenings looking at memes. But I really get out, like, this is a typical situation in most organizations. Where's that SOP again? So it's like, anyway, designed to be digested by everybody, get everybody on the same page, not only one person trying to push it onto everybody. Help everyone understand that this is a useful tool to do the job better, and it's a foundation of improvement activities. So it's not the typical one person decides, oh, we need standards because I'd really love to fire the entire workforce, but I can't because we wouldn't know how the place works. That's often the motivation people, why they want standards, is because the tribal knowledge they're too dependent on a few people to get things done. And bad management is motivated to try to get the tribal knowledge out of their head for that purpose. Obviously, we're not condoning that. But with GembaDocs, it's so easy. So maybe best started by illustrating the before situation, if you're happy with that. In a lean environment, most of us are used to it before and after. So the traditional way of doing standards, the last factory I was in charge of, about 60 people, and because we just didn't have any resource, the burden of trying to put standards in place fell on me. So I was spending an afternoon, pretty much every afternoon, going down into our 60 machines plus, trying to document the startup, the shutdown, the changeover, using my phone, Dropbox, Excel. Oh my God. On a good day, I get 2 done. And they were wallpaper. That's the other problem. Because effectively, this is back to the memes again, I owned those standards. The people in the shop didn't. So hopefully you can see that.
Yeah.
This is a guy with a flip chart, and it's like, I'm a manager and I'm here to help. Don't be that guy. Right? So in that circumstance, that's a typical situation that most people listen to this. If they wanted to do standards, that's where they would find themselves.
We will put the link of the book and the audio, etc. We can put it
Awesome.
in LinkedIn and also in our newsletter, that people can get maximum access to it. Now let's go through the 5 letters of the GR.E.A.T processes.
Right. So this is now we're in GembaDocs land. So the G stands for Gemba. So your processes need to be developed on the Gemba. And again, in a typical before situation, you're the manager with your phone and your clipboard. You're taking notes out in the shop. You take your photographs, you email them to yourself, you put them on Dropbox, whatever. You go back to your desk, you do your nice, pretty standard. You take it back to the guys on the shop floor. All right, no, that's not right. We need to change this, blah, 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 blah. Back to your desk again. No. Because the 2 big problems, the ownership is with the guy with the the clipboard. The people on the shop floor are lightly involved, but they don't own them. And it's also super important that this leads us into the R, that the people doing the work preferably own the creation of the standard, not just be involved. Preferably, like if you have a tool like GembaDocs, they can do it themselves. So the people doing the work take the photographs or the videos and they write the process descriptions and they do it. And that's so beautiful because now they own that standard and they start to use it because they own it. So the R is for recognized. It'll only get recognized if the people who own the work, people closest to the value, I have an expression that I say in the book, the standards, the further away from the Gemba that the standards are written, the worse the standards will be. So you need to be on the Gemba and you need to be with the people doing the job. Here's another meme. That's the face when someone with no idea how to do your job tries to tell you how to do your job. So that's what's going to happen if you try to do it and don't get the guys doing the work owning it. So there's G and R. E is easy to follow and easy to understand. So the process that you come up with needs to be that, and you can test for that. We'll come on to that in a later letter. A means available at point of use. So typical thing with standards, again, they'll be in some yellow folder in a cupboard somewhere. Nobody knows where they are. They're dusty. They don't get taken out very often. Or at best, they'll be on a SharePoint folder somewhere that, again, nobody ever looks at. And so wallpaper. So available at point of use with GembaDocs, you can print them off, which is our least preferred method of deployment. You can put a QR code on the piece of equipment or where the workplace is. You can deploy them via an iPad in the app. You can just skip through these steps, really simple, step by step. Or you can have a PC where you can access all your standards where the work is. It depends, and I go over that in the book. It depends on the situation, how you want to deploy it and make it available at point of use. What's the appropriate way of doing that? Yeah. And then finally, the T is tested and trained. So I have where the little graphic on the back of the book comes from is we classify processes in 3 different ways. You've light bulb processes. Mm-hmm. They're super simple, really intuitive. Everybody knows how to do them. And we don't have a skills shortage or any of that stuff. How you do it doesn't really matter. I can turn the light bulb on with my left hand, my right hand, my forehead. The outcome's pretty much the same. I don't need a SOP for that. That's how we'd love every process. That's why we talk about it. Every process, as far as possible, should be a light bulb. We should just be able to walk up and do it. That's what an ideal world would look like. So our direction of evolution needs to be towards the light bulb. The next one is banana. Banana process, I don't have a banana here. I peeled a banana from the stalk my whole life. And I found out recently, if you peel the banana from the other end, the blunt end, it's a lot easier to get a consistent result. So banana processes are medium critical. The SOPs are there as a guideline and as a pooling, a best optimum method that's known of how to do something, but they are still a guideline. They're not absolutely mandatory to be followed. But yeah, a lot of processes fall in that bracket. And then the traffic light, he's the guy where it's totally mandatory. If you don't obey it, if you don't obey the red light, bad things can happen. So we want to differentiate that for our people so that they know. And in GembaDocs, you can designate a process as critical. You can designate a process step as critical. So it's easy for people to understand, right? There's no interpretation here. I can't be a millennial here. This is it. That's the way it has to be done. So that's really what the grades stand for. That's what the categories stand for. And then I go through a little timing plan of how you get people pulled and curious on board so that you're not pushing it onto them, because then you're going to have problems. Yeah. So that's basically the book in a nutshell.
Yeah. But then you get the common remarks. We are in office environment. For us, it's not applicable.
It's totally applicable. I would say these days about a third of GembaDocs, like I get to see them. Only 2 people in the world get to look in the back end of GembaDocs. About a third of our now more than 20,000 SOPs are not physical, is how I would describe it. So things that aren't using your hands. So computer-based, app-based processes. So it's just as important. Like, for example, easy example, one of our early adopters, they're not a manufacturing company, they're a distribution company, they're e-commerce. And they're brilliant. They have hundreds of GembaDocs. And easy example, this person who looks after digital marketing, she's going on holiday. Right, how do you do a Facebook post? What's our standard for doing one? Who's going to do the weekly report that goes to the managing director when I'm away? How's that going to happen? Who's going to do that? So the GembaDoc is there. They're like, in this case, they're banana processes. So we got an optimum route to follow that's going to get people to an outcome when that lady's away. So they want to have the process. Do you follow me? It's in their interest to have the process, the person doing the job. It's documented. But the more you use GembaDocs, like when I have used it for a bunch of processes that only I ever carry out. Let that sink in. Because, say, for example, I do a daily review. Well, I have a standard way of doing that. And then I'm improving it all the time. It's going, oh, no, I don't need to do that one anymore. That's sort of redundant. So I'll go into GembaDocs, edit it out, and then I'll add another one. And then that process keeps evolving. And I get used to having a GembaDocs on one screen and my work on another. So even when you're on your own, it matters. We have quite a few one-man band customers of GembaDocs.
Yeah. And then the second remark is, yeah, we don't have time for that.
Oh, that's a brilliant thing. Love that one. No, seriously, I'm not really, I'm not being in any way combative or arrogant. You can make a GembaDoc as you do the job. It's so easy. Literally, it's the best thing about it. So as you do the job, phone out, photo, process, description, I'll make a little 30-second video. You do it while you do the work. It's not the old situation that I was describing, 2 SOPs a day in 4 or 5 hours. You can literally do like a 12-step SOP in 5 or 10 minutes. It's no burden. So, and I'll tell you, I keep coming lately, the amount of videos I'm coming across from GembaDocs users is not even funny. Literally, at least a couple a day now, where I saw one recently, because in the Lean community, people post their improvement videos on YouTube. So I follow a lot of our customers, and I do it. I will admit there's a motive, because I love seeing GembaDocs being used. I came across one recently. Here's Derek. We can't stop him making GembaDocs. Like, he loves it. It's really good fun when you use it. It's so addictive. And in the book, I talk about using it for simple processes to start with, like how in the office coffee machine, for example, how do we change the cartridge for it? How do we fill it? How do we clean it? And all of that stuff. And it's like those things that annoy everybody every day. It's like, oh, well, here's how I do that. I just QR code it. Oh, there it is. It's so easy. It's useful. It's dead easy to get people to do stuff that's useful. It's really hard to get people to do stuff that's a burden and a more hassle.
But that's one of the things people might not understand. How can you get addicted to create GembaDocs?
It's easy, as I said. It's like any habit. The first couple might be, you have to get off your sofa. There's mine behind me. You have to get off the sofa is the hardest part. That's the most difficult part. But after you've got off the sofa, then you've done one or two. You build a habit. Like in our organization, because Lumen Electronics is my company. We make and design and develop and make stuff. When I do the workshops, I'm forever doing it now. I'll just pick out one of the guys and go, when's the last time I asked you to raise a standard? And I go, it's kind of lost its joke now because I do it too often. I've practically never done it because our guys just raise them. It's like, oh, we have a new task. Oh, we raise a GembaDoc because I don't want to have to do all that thinking the next time. It's as simple as that. Like if you do a task where I only do it once every week or so, for example, well, I have to think about it every time I do it. I have to, what did I do last time? And what field do I have, especially for computer-based processes, what field do I have to put it in? And what do I put in there? And what folder do I put it in? I'll give you an even better example. Sorry for rabbiting on, right? So in Ireland, we have a government agency called InvestNI, and we have a claim. They support us with funding for projects. And we have a project that's now in its 4th quarter of 4 quarters that are ever going to be claimed, right? And the last time when I was filling out the 3rd claim, I said to the guys, will I do a GembaDoc for this? I was just talking randomly in the office. Will I do a GembaDoc for this? Because we're only going to do it one more time, right? And I'll go on then. Yeah, I'll do it. And this is a computer one. The computer ones take longer than the mobile app. And I took about, while I was doing that task, I'd say it added about 5 minutes, right? So I documented all the steps. And I went to do that claim last week. And it was no joke. Within the first 2 steps, I saved myself about an hour and a half of grief because that's a 3-month interval. So every third month I was like, oh my God, what did I do? Where are all the forms? What do I have to copy and paste? And what folder is it in? And it's all there. Super easy. So do you see what I mean? And I'm only ever going to do that one more time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's how you get people interested and engaged, because they go, well, this is useful. It makes my life easier. So when you can do that, then things are good. It's not complicated. It really isn't complicated.
Yeah. Making life easier. That's one of the benefits. Now, another thing is when people can contribute to improvements that stimulates them, that engages these people. So that is, I think, for an organization,
you're gonna love this, right? We've got a new feature that we're planning for June, right? So it's not there right now. At the moment, you can print a PDF with 2, 4, 6 steps on it, and it's pretty a dead-end document, right? When people print it, and more customers print them than I would like, frankly. So imagine it's out in the shop floor and the steps are there and the guy's using it. There's no mechanism for him to feed it back within the system. You can tell somebody, but there's no mechanism, right? So the next thing we're doing is putting a QR code on the printed version, or it's in the electronic version. If you click on it, you can give feedback to the originator of step 5, I didn't understand that, or we don't do it that way, we do it like this. And that'll automatically go back to the originator. He can choose to act on it. He'll see who did it, Dave in welding or Jane in welding. They did it. All right, that's a really good point. Yeah, we'll update the standard for that. And then they can inform them, thanks for your feedback. Yeah, that's done. We've updated the standard. Do you see what I'm getting at? As an improve, we see that as a huge upgrade in our engagement with the people, and to get the improvement process even more slick than it is now. Because the old days, one of the biggest problems, there's usually one person who does the standards and they're a bottleneck. So when people have an improvement suggestion, they never get done, and then they become wallpaper. Nobody bothers to say. This eliminates all that. So you can see, hopefully get a flavor. We're improving it all the time. Like, we've got some of the biggest customers in the world recently coming on board, names I can't tell you, unfortunately. But we've got from one-person companies right through to thousands, like divisions of people. When you go to the petrol station, you might know the names. That's the best I can say. So the breadth of customer and how we're serving them all is pretty great. And it's because it's so easy to use. That's why people want it.
And what's their main drive then to start with it, these companies?
Well, it's normally because they've been struggling to get standards in place, because the existing tools, and this will sound arrogant, but I'm just going to speak what I candidly think. The existing tools are just so complicated and cumbersome. So you can pay, literally, this is a true story, recent customer interaction. It was within a large conglomerate. There was an approved solution already by the headquarters, and they desperately wanted to use GembaDocs. They trialed GembaDocs. It's awesome. We love it. It's great. All the guys in the shop like it. Yeah. It's brilliant. But the corporate guys, they're still fighting this battle. It's not over. We want you to use this because we've approved that already. And GembaDocs would have been $1,500 a year for this pretty decent sized factory. The competitor wants 20 grand sterling for the same thing. Plus, they don't want to use it. Let that sink in. They don't want to use the 20. It's not even about the 20 grand. It's about the fact that nobody wants to use it, because it's a typical lean, complicated thing. No offense to, I love lean. I love all forms of lean. I'm not saying anything doesn't work, but it has a habit of overcomplicating things. And ours is people and end user centric. We weren't, even though it complies with your ISOs and your aerospace standards and all that stuff, it was designed with the person doing the job in mind, not the auditor. And that's the difference. We pass the audits, but it's designed to make life easy for the guy at the front line. They're going to be engaged. I'll give you another example for it. We had a customer from the US visit us in Northern Ireland a few weeks ago. They used that same competitor solution. They changed to GembaDocs because it was easier to use. And she said, well, in the past, I was the only one to use it. Let that sink in. I was the only one to use it. It was just very expensive wallpaper.
Uh-huh.
And with GembaDocs, because you can give it to the guy on the machine and say, look, by the end of the week, can you document the startup, the shutdown, and the tool changeover for that? Yeah, no problem, mate. That'll be all right. Yeah, sure. Like, it's a whole other kettle of fish. You couldn't do that with the other thing. No chance. Has to be an engineer doing it.
Yeah.
So anyway,
where did your passion for these standardizations started?
I would say my whole mission in life is to make workplaces better. That's why I do my stuff. That's why I wrote that, and why I give that away is because I get fed up people making a pig's ear of implementing 2-second lean, and that's why I wrote it. And I believe in karma, and I'm pretty sure you do too. So I just want to. That's what motivates me. It's like helping making life easy, better, joyful for people. That's what motivates me. And GembaDocs is not a burden. It's like, great, we've got that tool, thank God. Whereas everything else that does this is like, oh my God, not that. Please, one more burden for poor managers, poor supervisors, poor people doing the job. It's all BS, frankly. Whereas our thing, we're a tool to help people have more fun at work, enjoy work, do a better job, easier for them, more consistent, better quality, lower cost, happier customers, all that stuff. I love all that. That's why I do this. And I've never had more fun in my career than I have since I've been working with GembaDocs. The customers are unbelievable. I swear to God, they are unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, we're constantly improving the thing, and they're constantly telling me that they're getting value. So how couldn't it be fun? So.
Yeah. Now there you're focusing on processes. Do you also have? Then we have to invent a name, but instead of focusing on processes, that you can do it on people, and that means.
Well, it's all connected. Everything's connected.
Do you have a document where we can change the mindset of some managers? That's
interesting. Very, very interesting. That's kind of what this book was about. But I'm writing another one. Jim, you're gonna like this. I'm writing another book at the moment. It's a lean method of how to meditate, how to learn to meditate and build a meditation practice, because that's a fix what bugs you again. Meditation's a huge part of my life. It's a huge reason I am who I am. I've been meditating for close to 10 years. I have a guru. If you had the big version of the picture, you'd see him. And I got fed up with everybody I'd speak to. If that subject ever came up, it's, I tried meditating, couldn't make it work, didn't build a practice, it's too hard. And I was like, eventually I got asked the question one time too many. I thought, I'm going to fix that. I know I can fix that. And I trained as a high-level meditation teacher. And I did an initial group of 17 people from literally all over the world. And I taught that group to meditate at amazing results. I'm teaching the new physical class of that tomorrow night. I used to teach meditation just as a hobby. And now I'm turning that into a thing. So when we ask, right, you said about how do we change managers? It's all about changing yourself. Everything about change is about changing yourself. As soon as it becomes about changing somebody else, it's bad, frankly. You change everything by focusing on you and your leadership behavior. If you're a leader and the owner, the CEO, whatever, what do you focus your attention and energy on? Ask yourself that question if you're looking to change. Because if you're constantly focusing on all the things that are going wrong, don't be surprised you've got a shitty culture. Where if you're constantly looking at your organization because you yourself inside are clean, tidy, and beautiful and loving and everything else, you're going to see that when you look out at your people, and you're going to grow that. Whereas if inside you're full of stress and frustration and you can't believe these people are so stupid, etc., don't be surprised that that's the world you live in. So most people think it's the other way around. They think that their circumstances and the environment causes them to be the way they are. It's absolutely not. You take a person who's messed up inside and you put them in paradise and they'll turn it into Hades. Whereas if you take Hades and you take that strong leader and put them in there, they'll build paradise. And anybody that's listening to this, you'll be able to look inside and say, he's right, because you'll be able to remember examples of that. So it's all wrong. People are too focused on changing everyone else.
Yeah, if they are still here, because when you talk about meditation to lean,
they all switched
a lot
off.
of people. I will check in the chart. The moment that people start leaving is maybe because you started talking about meditation, because there's a gap. There's a gap for a lot of people between really making standards and meditating that's another discussion. Thank you very much, Tom.
You're very welcome, Jim,
to be here again, and we'll meet soon, I guess, and let's promote your work. So we will spread the links.
Thank you so much, and emphasize that we're now Dutch.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. Yeah, we got a few good, quite significant sized Dutch customers now.
Yeah, great.
Jim, enjoy your time, and hopefully it gets sunnier. And keep in touch, my friend. Thanks for having me on.
See you. Bye-bye. See you. Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Take care.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.